And then the last few albums here are albums that are going into my collection. A couple of them, yeah, most of these are albums that I actually picked out and purchased at some point myself. Except for, well, two of them are not, but they're good albums. And then the other three are albums that I actually bought myself, and they go in my collection. They're just not in there yet. The first one is the Irish Rovers. The first of the Irish Rovers, it's called. It says it's recorded live at the Ice House in Pasadena, California. Now, I have not looked up information about the Irish Rovers. I have heard from my understanding is that the Irish Rovers are not actually Irish. Certainly when I look at the picture, one of them, is a redhead with red beard, and he kind of looks Irish to me, and one of them actually does kind of have an Irish look to me, but I really don't know. I haven't looked them up as artists, so I honestly don't know. I've heard that they're like fake Irish, or that they're like, Irish songs for people who don't listen to Irish people doing Irish songs. I don't know. Like, these are like uh, Americans who liked Irish music and decided to play Irish music. That's what I think that they are. I think that they're Americans who appreciated Irish music and played traditional folk Irish music just over here. I don't know if any of them are Irish originally, or are from Ireland, or have any Irish in them, or anything like that. uh, and I have nothing against the Irish. Obviously, pretty certain that I have some Irish in me. My family is very uh, sort of that part of Europe. um, so I don't know, but I love the Irish Rovers, so that's why I have that record. And so I bought another one. I actually bought The Unicorn by the Irish Rovers as well. This is a Decca record, um, number DL74951. So this is like one of the original records, as opposed to that other one, which, yeah, is a live album. And it's like a greatest hits live album. This record I'm actually not really familiar with, despite the fact that I bought it for my own collection. I bought it later on, which means I didn't have a record player for a lot of the time that I've owned this record. So I actually haven't heard it much myself. This record here is one of the records that was in my mom's original collection. And it's very, very classic. It's very obscure. I don't expect really anyone in my age group to know who this is, but this is a comedian. This is the best of Spike Jones. The reason I remember this album so well, of course, was this iconic cover with this picture of him, the crazy picture of him with the red eyes. It says the best of Spike Jones and his City Slickers. But it's a comedy album, and Spike Jones is very, very funny. A couple of classic jokes that people recognize, like later on, some of them came from here, or some of them were either originally on here or interpreted on here by him. Trying to think of the one that's most common is the horse race, although I don't see it on this one, which means the horse race one might actually be on that Looney Tunes album, possibly. But it's an extremely funny a comedy album, and anyone who's interested in like classic comedy or anything, I definitely recommend that you listen to some Spike Jones. I have a copy of Thriller here on vinyl. This is one that I bought at a flea market, and when I mentioned in a comment earlier on someone's post about how I didn't think records were expensive, but the reason is because I buy used ones, as you can see, or you might not be able to see it because of the color. This was $3.50 at a flea market. but you know, it's in good shape. It's in the back, right there, and of course the inside. It does have the sleeve inside that has the lyrics on it as well. This is an Epic record. Number QE38112 stereo. So obviously this is, you know, everyone knows this album. It's, well, I think the record was finally broken, right? But this was the best-selling record album of all time for an extremely long time. It was the first record to beat the Eagles' Hotel California, I believe. Which shows you how long the Eagles' Hotel California was the #1 record. And the last record that I have in this collection here, that is going in my other collection, belongs to someone who passed away just a few weeks ago, and for some reason I didn't really officially hear about it that I was sure was true until a day or two ago, and that is Richie Havens, who was actually up here in this area not too long ago, doing talks and things at bookstores and stuff, which is one of the reasons why I was surprised that he had passed away. I wasn't really sure. This is Richie Havens' Something Else Again. The first time I went to a record store after a very long period of never going to record stores, they were playing a record over their PA system in the store, like most record stores do. They were playing some music, and it was instrumental, and it was sitar music, and I didn't know who or what it was. And I was walking around the store, and as I finished up my shopping, I asked the person at the desk what the record was. He was just taking it, it was just ending, he was just taking it off. I asked him what the record was, and he showed me this record, and I said, okay, I'm buying it from you right now, you know. I mean, it wasn't over yet. I think he was actually flipping over to play side B, but anyway, I'm like, just find another record, I'm taking that one. It was not like this when I originally got it, I don't think. I'm not positive, but judging by the look, I would guess that this might have been left in my bed at some point when I had my first 2 sets of rats, and they might have just chewed the end off. I mean, the look of it, though, when I look up close, almost looks like it got stuck like in a shredder and pulled out. But either way, it wasn't, I don't recall it being that way when I originally bought it. I'm not exactly sure how it got that way. It didn't affect the record. The record is in great shape. And this was put out by Verve, which is about the only thing that you can't read on the front because of where it's been chewed up. Well, it's also possible this was left somewhere where mice might have gotten in, because we did have a mouse problem in our house for quite a while. But the amount of chewing suggests my rats instead.